ahead of schedule here today. Thank you so much for joining us, Tarek from the Blue Stones. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to link up with CD 1025 again.
Yeah, I mean, in my case, it's just nice to talk to another human being.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get you for sure.
All right. Well, I do want to ask you a few questions, but do you want to get started with the song and then we'll go from there?
Oh, yeah. I suppose I could do that for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, let's get it started. I guess I'm gonna start with "Be My Fire" and we'll move on from there. Baby, be my fire. Baby, be my flame. Baby, be the softly burning embers through December into June. Cause me. Baby, be my conduit. And I'll hold you here. Baby, be the visions in the night and wait for the light for you to disappear. Baby, be my fire. Baby, be my fire. Oh, be my faith. Yeah, I heard you whisper to all your friends. I heard you telling them that you need a man in who you can depend. Well, I'll be the gasoline, whoa, to keep you alive. And I'll be the cold so unbreakable. We're gonna together straight through the night. Oh, that's alright. Baby, be my fire. Baby, be my fire. Baby, be my fire. Yeah, I hold you there so close. Yeah. Baby, be my fire. Baby, be my fire. Oh, be my fire. And I hold you there so close, so close.
God, that really does sound great acoustic. Thank you so much, Tarek from Blue Stones.
Thank you, everybody who's tuning in. I'm seeing some of the Blue Stones account frequents on here too, which is nice.
Oh, cool.
So shout out to them.
Nice. Glad that they could be here. It feels a little odd to start an interview without bringing up, I mean, the world within the last couple of months. Can I ask how you've been holding up?
Pretty well. I'm the kind of guy who needs to be busy doing something, and even if you lock me in a house, I'm going to find something to do. So, I mean, I've been doing a lot more live streams. I've started this thing on our account called the Sugar Lounge, where basically I've been playing keys and taking people's requests as far as covers and playing some of our own songs, through a piano, and just trying to stay connected as much as possible, because I feel like it keeps me sane. But it also just keeps, it keeps in touch with the fans, which, obviously we adore very, very much. And doing things like this, like cool interviews with you guys.
Yeah, I love that you're calling it the Sugar Lounge. That is.
I'm trying to think of like where it started. I think I was teaching a lesson on how to play our song Grim. And I think I didn't necessarily want to get too technical with the terms as far as like hammer downs, pull offs, and like, playing around with some of the lead guitar stuff you could do. So I just call it Sugar. And then from then on, It just sort of became the Sugar Lounge.
Just put some sugar on it. I love it. You've been doing those tutorials and kind of, I guess tutorials is the right word for them, including one for Be My Fire, which I enjoy. Um, so I do think that's a cool way to like reach out with your fans and listeners and stuff.
Yeah,
You're doing
it
all
works.
sorts of stuff. I like that. How about personal life? Are you doing any new hobbies? Are you
Well, I'm gaming a lot more. You know, I've been
okay?
playing a lot of video games lately, just with all the free time. So diving into some of those. I mean, I'm kind of a video gamer myself, so it's not really too different from normal life, but I just feel like I have so much more time to do it that I do. But I also like to stay active, so I mean, I go out and I go for runs. Been getting in touch with cooking a lot more, so I've been
Mm,
cooking a lot more, and sort of, you know, it's opened up this entire world that I didn't really think that I would even be interested in. Not that I didn't cook before, but I just sort of like, you know, I don't think I was good enough, but you sit down, you watch a couple YouTube videos, and you start to realize, like, hey, I can actually make something absolutely delicious at home. So that's something I've really been getting in touch with. Netflix, you know, I feel like it's common. Like, you probably, same for you. You've probably done a lot of the same things.
yeah, I would say I haven't gotten as much into cooking lately as I would like to. But I
Right.
remember that you guys are fans of the road trip food. You're foodies,
Oh,
so that makes a bunch of sense.
absolutely. I
How's
love it when other people make us food, but it's time
yeah
for me to, you know.
yeah. How's Justin holding up? I imagine you're in separate spots right now.
He's good. Yeah, we do live in separate cities. I always say that he's sort of locked himself to an underground bunker. Nobody knows. It's an undisclosed location. Nobody knows where he is. But he pops on our live streams every once in a while. He's been teaching people how to make cocktails and just sort of, you know, living his best life at home. I think he's very good at keeping himself occupied while at home. I think he's good at that. He's much better than I am. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, I've thought it's funny, like all the introversion like memes going out right now, or
Yeah,
like
exactly. I'm like, wow, this is a dream for me. You
yeah, we're fine.
know?
All right. Well, Tarek from the Bluestones, thanks again for joining us. Do you want to play one more and then we'll go from there?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually going to move over to the keyboard.
Oh
That's what I
yeah.
was going to do. I don't know how much you can actually. Oh, jeez, I got to pick this up. I'm going to play. I've been working on a version of Shakin' Off the Rust, actually, which I know you guys have been spinning on the keys. So I'd love to play that for you guys.
Sweet.
Bang my head against the wall. Try to find my stride, but I trip and I fall. Losing my attention again. Yeah, I hit the bottom, but I'm on the mend. Take another step, push it to the end. Just a little more, I can see the end. Yeah, you finished in your mind, always meaning to. You think too much, it's in my head. So I'm shaking up the rust. You got no trust, it's in my head. So I'm shaking up the rust. I think I've grown just a little bit. Walk through the fire and back again. Lord knows I tried everything I can. And I'm shaking up the rust. Yeah, I'm shaking up the rust. Bang my head against the wall. Try to hold a smile, but I'm sick of it all. Everyone with something to say. Better hold my tongue or I make a mistake. Show 'em what I do, show 'em how it's done. Never turn it down, never gonna run. I think too much, it's in my head. So I'm shaking up the rust, and you got no trust. It's in through the fire and back again. Lord knows I've tried everything I can, and I'm shaking out the rust. Yeah, I'm shaking out the rust. Yeah, I'm shaking out the rust. You think too much, it's in my head. So I'm shaking out the rust. You got no trust, it's in my head. So I'm shaking out the rust. I think I'm wrong, just baby. Why do the fire and back again? Lord knows I tried everything I can, and I'm shaking out the rust. Yeah, I'm shaking out the rust. Yeah, I'm shaking out the rust.
Live from the Sugar Lounge, it is Tarek of the Bluestones. Thank you again. My goodness, that sounds great. I love these.
Yeah.
I love these versions, and it's fun that you that you pull out a "Shaking Off the Rust," given the kind of irony of the music video in times
Yes.
like these. And
Yeah. I mean, we've been getting that one a lot just because it is pretty fitting. It's pretty relevant, you know. And you can imagine, like at the time that we even did that music video, it wasn't even crossed our mind that we'd hit a global pandemic, and yet here we are. So
yeah, for anybody watching that's not aware, the video entertains the idea of a virtual VR concert. And when you guys were here just a few months ago, I think my direct question was, do you think that that's a reality sometime soon? So sorry for
oh man, wow! It's like you could tell the future.
yeah, sorry for ruining everything for everyone.
I, I don't really know if it's actually going to be a reality. I've thought about that, and although it is kind of cool, and it's I don't know, I feel like it would be cool for musicians because you would wake up and you'd be at home and you could be with your families or your friends and play shows over VR. But I just feel like there's a missing connection. I feel like music needs to be experienced live in the room, and there's just so much that you miss by doing it over VR. And I've heard of some bands at least attempting the idea, but I don't really think it's going to be a mainstay for at least a little while until we can actually get VR to look and sound the same as being actually at a place or at an event, you know?
Yeah, I mean, not even to mention the cultural aspects after dealing with something like this. I guess I could see it
Yeah.
in two ways where people will be more comfortable with this idea, or people will be just so desperate to get back into an actual live setting
Yeah,
that they
that's a
don't
good
want to do it anymore.
point. I think a lot of people will change, and I think a lot of businesses will change, you know,
Hmm.
and our industry especially, it's interesting to see how that's evolving. I think a lot more people are hopping on live streams and using programs and websites that maybe they haven't even considered. And who knows, that might even change their approach to how they take their music, right? So we'll see. I guess we'll have to wait and see for that, right?
Yeah, yeah, future's an open book at this point.
Mhm.
Looking towards maybe later this year. I don't wanna ping you for any band industry secrets, but you do have that new album on the way coming
Yes.
up. Is it fair to say this year?
To be honest, we don't know. I mean, we definitely hope for that, and I guess it's more we have to sort of wait to see how this ever changing situation pans out. But I mean, the minute we know, then we'll definitely let all of our fans know. You know, but we want to get that thing out. I mean, it's done, right? It's
Mhm.
mastered. It's ready to go. It's just more about releasing it at the right time. So we're sort of waiting for now,
Right. Yeah,
for
that
sure.
makes sense. Well, there's a new single out at least. We can take solace in that.
Yes.
Careless, the most recent single, kind of a different vibe for you. How was it putting that together, and how was it working with Paul Meany of Mute Math?
Ah,
That's very
I
cool.
mean, that was incredible. It was almost like a dream come true. I mean, to start with him, I mean, he's been a hero of mine and Justin's for a very long time. You know, we've been Mute Math fans since like 2008, 2009. But when we were putting together the ideas for this album and our management approached us like, okay, well, who would you guys like to produce this album? I remember even saying offhand, like, yeah, it would be nice for Paul Meany to do it, but obviously, you know, that's a little bit hard to come by. We're shooting for the stars here, but they went away and they got him, and he was really into the project, and he was just such an awesome person to work with too. I always say he's like the opposite of the phrase "don't meet your heroes." Like the guy's the most down to earth, really, really amazing coach, and just put a great touch to the songs. You know, he sort of took what we think the Bluestones are and sort of pushed it towards this evolution. Speaking of which, yeah, Careless is definitely a little bit of a different direction. I wouldn't say that, you know, it doesn't have the influences that influence me. You know, when I write, I draw from a lot of the influences subconsciously of music that I listen to, and that just so happens to be a lot of hip hop and R&B, and I feel like that is really channeled through that song. Um, but we're happy with the response that we've gotten. We know it's different for people, but we're happy that they can recognize, like, no, this is the Bluestones just in a way that you haven't seen them before. You know, something like
That's
that.
true. Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Check it out, the new single, Careless. Speaking of like going back into your history and having listened to Mute Math for so long growing up and
Yeah,
having that be an influence on you, I've got a listener question that came through right
absolutely.
before this. Said, looking back at what you think of like your earlier creations as a songwriter, was there ever a wow, I can do this moment, or was it a steady progression?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good question. I don't think there was ever a moment where either me individually or myself and Justin sort of, you know, put down our instruments and looked at each other like, you know what, we've got something. Like there's never that moment, but I think it was a very long series of very small wins. So I kind of equate it to like building a wall. You know, it was just brick by brick. Actually, I think Will Smith put it really well, where he's like, you don't really know. All you got to focus on is laying the next brick, right? And you don't really know what you have until you stand back and you have an entire wall built. And that's pretty much the story of the Bluestones. It's just very little wins along the way that kept us going and sort of reassured us that we were on the right path. And those wins started to build and build, and they became even larger wins. That when we looked back, you know, we look back on what we've done and we say, yeah, you know what, we do have something, and it is worth continuing with. Not necessarily a eureka moment where we're like, let's do this.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's a great analogy as well. Will Smith with
But I
the
still cringe. I cringe a lot when I look at the older videos and some of the older songs. I just like, it's kind of like watching, like, I don't know, high school videos of yourself or something like that.
no, yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Not saying that there's anything out there. Nobody should go check that. Um, one more thing before we cut you loose, have you play another song and then cut you loose. I do want to run you
Sure.
through another lightning round here at the end. I had to come
Yes.
up with some different questions.
I love
Um,
these.
no repeats in here. Question number one, pancakes or waffles?
Ooh, pancakes.
Soup or salad?
Salad.
What is the last album slash artist that you listened to?
Oh, I guess it's got to be the one that Tom Mish and Yusuf Days just put out. I can't remember what it's called, but that their new album is the one that I just listened to.
I'll
Actually,
look. I'll try and look that
it's
up while
amazing.
you're.
You have to look it up. Like
Okay,
Yusuf Days is an amazing drummer, and Tom Mish is an amazing guitarist, vocalist. You have to look it up.
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
it's it's Tom and then Misch and then Yusuf, I think, is Yusuf, and then last name Dayes. And
Cool.
yeah, the song "Last 100" is amazing. The song "Night Rider" is amazing. It's a great album.
Awesome. I'll try and pull it up while you're playing the last song. Couple more for you. What is the most recent dream that you remember?
I had a dream that I was just at a bar. Like I think it's because we haven't been able to actually go to places. I had a
Yeah,
dream like nothing fantastical happened. I was just at a bar and it was, you know, normal life again. And then I
but
woke up and I was like, shit, I missed that.
that's such a fantasy. Yeah, at this
I
point in
know it's
time.
like this fantasy now. Yeah, exactly.
If you were a character on The Office, which one would you be?
Uh, Michael Scott, I think. I I mean, I think a lot of people like to go towards Jim because he's like the cool guy at the office. But when I really think about it, like I can get as dorky and as cheesy as Michael Scott can get. So I would say Michael Scott for
Good
sure.
answer.
Yeah.
My last question to send you off on. It may or may not be very lightning roundy, but do you
Okay.
think Carol Baskin killed her husband?
Wow. You know, oh, that is tough because it's you know what it's all circumstantial evidence, and we
Right.
don't really know. Everybody's speculating, and if that's how the justice system works, then to be honest, we're all screwed, right? Um, But God, it's just so hard to not see all the puzzle pieces fitting together, isn't it?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
They
And
laid
also,
out.
like, just from watching that entire documentary, like all of them are so wacky. Every single character on that documentary is just wacky, and you know, they're capable of doing some crazy things. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's what I think. Do I think she killed her husband? No, but I think that she is just really bad at not being suspicious.
That's a very judicial, ethical answer. I
Yes,
appreciate
yes.
that.
I'm a man of the people. You know, I have to think of it.
Innocent until proven guilty. You heard it here first.
Yes.
Thank you again, Tarek from the Bluestones. I'll have you play one more and then
Sure, yeah.
cut you loose.
Figured I'd leave it on something a little bit vibey. I'm just gonna play Magic, the piano version. I took a ride down your street at night just to feel like heaven. I never had the chance to change your mind. Someone else took my place. Oh, the moment, why it fades away? And I wanna make it full. The other side, oh, and I wanna make it full. Another time you pull me down so I paint your body with my own color, sips into my bones again. So where you gonna hide? Oh, where you gonna hide? I swear it's only right if we go again. Oh, and I wanna make it full. The other side, oh, and I wanna make it full. I wanna make it full. Oh, because I don't believe in magic. Oh, you change my mind, change my heart. I don't believe in magic. Oh, 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 oh. Because I don't believe in magic. No, I don't believe in magic. Usually, oh, usually, oh, usually.
Hmm. Sounds great. Vibey indeed. I hope everybody watching from home is given a round of applause. A bunch of
Yes.
separate
Yes.
but loud.
Appreciate it. I see some diamonds being thrown up there. I really like that. I always like
Yeah,
to see that.
that's a nice touch. I am going to flip my camera around one more time here. I did find the record in question that's been recommended.
Yes.
Take your
Yeah, that's it.
screenshots.
Ooh, that's the one.
It's
Listen to it. Do yourself a favor. Listen to it.
got Freddie Gibbs
So
on it. I like that.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of a nice. I didn't really. I didn't even see his name on that song, and then like he came onto the track, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what the hell? This is Freddie Gibbs." And I was like, "Oh, what a great reach for them. That was awesome."
Awesome. Well, I know what I'm listening to for the rest of the day. Thank you again, Tarek from the Bluestones.
Absolutely, my
We hope to
pleasure.
see you. Hope to see you in Columbus when all of this is over.
Absolutely, we want to come back as soon as possible.
That's good to hear. All right. Thank you
All
again.
right,
Take
I'll see
care.
you later.